Welcome back. Today we're going to be going over all the Covenant locations in Dark Souls 3 and how we can join each one of them. We will be going in order of progression needed to join each one, so let's get started. The first one is going to be the Way of the Blue. To join this Covenant, all we need to do is go to the first bonfire in the High Wall of Lothric. We will need the elevator shortcut open, and once we do, we just come into this big room where we talk to Emma, which is the NPC who gives us the banner to advance into the Undead Settlement. If we talk to her a second time, she will give us the item needed to join the Way of the Blue. She obviously doesn't give it to me here because I already have it from before. Being in this Covenant doesn't get you any rewards. All its effect is that when you do get invaded by another player, a Dark Spirit, you will most likely get a player from the Blue Sentinels Covenant come into your world for automatic cooperation to help you defeat the Dark Spirit that invaded. So it's sort of the one you want to be in if you're a new player, if you're scared of kind of getting invaded by the players. The second Covenant we can join is the Warriors of Sunlight, which is more well known as the Sunbro Covenant. All we have to do is come to the first bonfire in the Undead Settlement, come through this building here, jump off here. The rewards for being in this Covenant, the first one for giving him 10 is going to be Sacred Oath, and for giving him 30 we're going to get the Great Lightning Spear. More effects about being in this Covenant: when you do invade while being in the Sunbros, you have a more likely chance of invading a world that already has another invader in it to make it more like Jolly Invasion instead of Jolly Cooperation, which is kind of fun. So all you want to do is come down here in the building to the left, as you can see, and we'll pick it up off this table where I'm standing in front of. Again, I already have this, so it obviously won't show up here in the game. Next up is the Mound Makers. Again, we want to come to the Undead Settlement bonfire, the first one. Come through this building. Instead of going to the left, we want to cross this bridge over to the right. We will only be able to do it this way if we have not yet defeated the big tree boss from this area. If you do happen to have already killed the boss, don't worry, you can still do it by doing Sirius' side quest. I have a video on that I'll leave up here on the screen or in the description somewhere. You can find a link to that. If you complete her side quest, you can also join this Covenant if you do happen to have already killed the boss of the Undead Settlement. So what you want to do is when you get over here to the right and drop down off the roofs of these buildings, you can interact with the cage on this guy's back. So you have to approach him from behind, press the action button, and we will be taken in the cage to the Pit of Hollows, which is the area we would fight the second boss. And here all we have to do is talk to this guy here, which will give us a homeward bone to get out of this pit, and also along with the item to join this Covenant. The rewards for being in the Mound Makers: at 10 you get the Bloodlust, and at 30 you get Warmth. Next up is the Blue Sentinels. We can find this just at the end of the second bonfire in the Road of Sacrifices. Well, there's going to be two NPCs here, and you're just going to have to speak to the one on the right that doesn't really say anything to you, and he will give you the item to join the Blue Sentinels. Being in the Blue Sentinels makes it so if a Way of the Blue person does get invaded, you will most likely be automatically summoned to their world to attempt to fight off the invader that joins their world. The rewards for being in the Blue Sentinels is at 10 you get the Dark Moon Ring, and at 30 you get the Dark Moon Blade. So for the Watchdogs of Fadon, what you have to do is come to the second bonfire in the swamp area. Come across this down here, turn to the right, and you'll see a really tall ladder up here. All you have to do is climb to the top of the ladder. It's quite a tall ladder. And what will happen here, if you're in this Covenant, you will most likely get summoned very often in this swamp area to invade other players, so it just happened to be passing through this area. It's sort of a bit just like to protect the swamp in a certain degree. The rewards for being in the Watchdogs of Faron: at 10 you get the Old Wolf Curved Sword, and for 30 you'll get the Wolf Knight Great Shield, which is Artoria's shield, and the Old Wolf Ring, which is to increase your poise, which are both kind of useful items. The sixth Covenant in Dark Souls 3 is going to be Arias' Fingers. To get here, we do need to go to the Cleansing Chapel, and we also need to have the second shortcut open. So be following the path I'm going to be showing on screen. Meanwhile, the rewards for being in the Arias' Fingers is going to be at 10, you're going to get the Obscuring Ring, and at 30, you're going to get the Man's Grub Staff. So after you come up here, you just want to continue advancing through these roofs until you get to the upper part of the building where all the beams and columns are. So you come up here and you want to drop off onto the chair, being very careful that you don't fall all the way down. It could be a fatal drop. And anyway, you want to just keep on advancing up here until you do get to this bonfire area, and you'll eventually find the Leader of the Covenant. This NPC also is the one that allows you to redistribute your stat points and also change your appearance of your character up to 5 times in exchange for Pale Tongues. The 7th Covenant is going to be Aldrich's Faithful. So for this one, we just want to come out here onto the roofs and advance. It's going to be behind an invisible wall, so where we're taking the path, point out the rewards. So for 10, the reward is going to be the Great Deep Souls, and for 30, you're going to get the Archdeacon's Great Staff. When you get to here, instead of going up the stairs, all you want to do is slash this wall over here to your left. It will disappear, revealing a hand ladder. You want to go down this ladder. When you get to the bottom, be careful. There will be two pretty powerful enemies. I'm just going to quickly try and run past them and see if I can get to this NPC in the corner, which will be the person that will let you to join this Covenant. As you can see, I do just about make it. And I'll do that straight afterwards, but this will be the Aldrich's of Faithful Covenant. Now, last but not least, is going to be the Blades of Darkmoon Covenant. So for this one, we have to go to Anon Londo's first bonfire and turn around the rotating stairs upwards. You do have to descend to the bottom, And you can see you can just cross over here in an invisible mid-air bridge, which is kind of cool. You want to turn right exactly when you get perpendicular to the bonfire and just drop off here. To the left, we will find the NPC that would allow us to join the Blades of Dark Moon. For this, we do have to learn a certain gesture off of Sidis' side quest. Again, if you want to go check out that video, it'll be in the description. And anyway, from here we will get the reward for having 10, will be a Dark Moon Ring, and then for 30 we'll get the Dark Moon Blade. And as you can see, that is all 8 Covenants in Dark Souls 3. If you did find this video helpful, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribe for more Dark Souls 3 content. We'll see you next time.